Hey, this is Blanc and welcome to this new Star Citizen video. As you can see, I'm currently playing on Pyro on the testing environment, so it's a Pyro preview. And today's video is about a ship review that I wanted to make about one of the ship which in my opinion is the best suited for Pyro for you to survive. And this ship is the AEGIS Redeemer. Look at the size of these guns. These Gatlings are huge. Trust me, you don't want to be in front of these things. Okay, so let's start this review by the visit of the interior of the ship, directly from this Pyro hangar. So let's open the ramp. Now we can get in, and the first impression you get when you get inside the Redeemer is this impression of strength, durability. You feel safe inside. Now the ramp is closed and suddenly you are inside, you feel you are in your bubble, you feel protected. It's amazing. Here we got a small cargo area for 1 or 2 boxes. It's not a ship designed around cargo, obviously. On this floor we also have access to some lockers, so you will be able to store your armors. On this side we have the toilets, which are common in many ships, but for the Redeemer it's kind of surprising really, because it's a military ship, so you can feel this ship has been designed for you to be able to spend days inside. Then you've got a total of 4 beds for your crew, some more lockers, and the access to the local storage of the ship so you can depot. We've got this kind of minibar which is fulfilled with water and food supplies, so this is very interesting because you will not have to buy these things when you want to go on a mission, which is always practical. And the small kitchenette to process your food. Next, we got the access to the upper floor, so let's climb up. Once we reach the upper floor, we've got access to the cockpit, components, and also the turrets, so this is really the heart of the ship. Directly on your left, you have access to 4 seats for you and your colleagues, because the AEGIS Redeemer also has been designed to have some capability as a dropship. Next, you have your direct access to your gun rack. Moving on to the rear of the ship, we have access to the components room, as you can see, and also the access to the top turret. The components are pretty big in the Redeemer because the Redeemer is really no joke. For example, you have 2 size 3 shields, which is very strong. Here is the top turret access through the little terminal. This is the main access to one of the 2 turrets of the ship, which are designed around a shell with 2 size 5 weapons, which is absolutely terrifying. As you can see, inside the turret, the view is a bit cluttered by the armor and the shell of the turret itself, but overall you have a great mobility, a nice vision, and it's pretty quick to move, so it can do the job pretty nicely. Moving on to the front of the ship, we have some more component access and directly the access to the second main turret of the ship, which is located under the ship. The weaponry of this turret is similar to the top one, which is 2 size 5. The default loadout is 2 Gatlings, so you may want to change it for leather repeaters so you don't run out of ammo. The next area is designed around 2 operator seats, which will permit you to use the remote turrets. You have one on the rear and one on the front. We start with the rear one, you power on the terminal, and then you can access the remote turret. The view is pretty okay, and you can even see the engines of the ship, and these 2 remote turrets are designed around 2 size 3 laser cannons. Now I'm in the front turret, and if I go up, you can see I'm right under the nose of the ship. On the cockpit area, we have some more components on the right and an extinguisher on your left. CIG is working at implementing the fire system, so I'm sure this extinguisher will be pretty handy to combat any fire that may happen inside of your ship during your combat situations. I can't wait for this gameplay to be implemented, it would be very interesting. The cockpit view is pretty okay for this ship, with a little window also between your 2 legs, so you can see a bit of the ground.
You are clear to launch.
We are right now on Pyro, on the testing environment, so we can access the system, but only partly, because not all the features are implemented yet. But it's a nice preview anyway, and as you can see, Pyro is very beautiful. To conclude on the loadout, the pilot also has access to 2 size 4 cannons, and by default, he is also controlling the front remote turret. We also have size 3 power plant, size 3 cooler, and size 2 quantum drive. At this stage of this review, you may be wondering, so why the AEGIS Redeemer is a good ship for Pyro? As explained in the loadout, the 2 size 3 shields of the Redeemer are pretty huge, and the durability of the ship itself is very increased compared to many other ships. Simply put, the Redeemer is a tank. Moreover, the Redeemer firepower is absolutely devastating, with a good firepower from the pilot seat, but more importantly, the 2 huge 2 size 5 turrets available, plus the small 2 remotes. The overall firepower of the Redeemer is huge. And in the context of Pyro, where there are no com arrays, no crime system, no prison, the fact the Redeemer can tank so much and be such a threat is a very good point for your capacity to survive, because simply put, when a Redeemer arrives, you don't want to face this thing. You just want to leave. Also, I could notice that the Redeemer really has an aura. Especially among the community, it has a very good reputation for being a ship which is very strong, hit hard, and you don't want to mess with this ship. But this is wrong or right, because like every ship in the game, the Redeemer also has its downsides. So, for example, its mobility is pretty average. It's not the quickest ship either. So in practical combat terms, if you were flying this Redeemer as a solo and facing, for example, a light fighter, due to the slow turn rate, you may be in big trouble and with the impossibility to target your enemy. So overall, you have to keep in mind that the Redeemer is a pretty fun ship, but it's also more designed around multi-crew gameplay, as expressed by its interior. You could play the Redeemer as a solo if you really wish to, but it's during multi-crew gameplay that it will really shine. As a solo player, I could still see some use case. For example, if you like to fly solo to some dangerous places and you want to have the maximum chances to survive during landing and takeoff thanks to your shield, for example, like during bunkers missions, then I can see some utility to the Redeemer. For multi-crew gameplay, then the Redeemer has a lot of gameplay possibilities. You could do PvE combat. For example, it's not rare to see a Redeemer facing a hammerhead. You could also, during events like Jump Town, use it as a dropship and go straight into the battle and land your crew so you are able to take control of terrain. Or just the opposite way, you could use it as a rescue ship, land, pick up the people you are looking for, and then take off. To conclude, I really like this AEGIS Redeemer. This ship has many things to like. Its durability, its firepower. It's an amazing ship. Obviously, this ship is oriented towards multi-crew gameplay and not so much toward the solo gameplay, but as we saw, I could still see some use case where it could be fun to use the Redeemer even as a solo player, so why not? But for multi-crew gameplay, during PvE combat or events where you need a tough ship to be able to land and use it as a dropship, for example, but also as a gunship, it's hard to beat the Redeemer. For PvP, honestly, currently the Redeemer is lacking a bit, because despite it's very powerful, with the current flight model, your enemy simply takes some distance from you and then it really diminishes your capacity to be a threat. But in the end, it's also a capacity somehow. Just the presence of the Redeemer makes your enemy go away. So it's very nice to be able to take control of an area simply by being there. So this really is the aura of the Redeemer, which I was talking about and which in the end is an advantage. I hope you enjoyed this review. Don't hesitate to leave a comment, a like and subscribe to the channel. This will greatly help me to grow my channel and offer you more content. I'm Blanc. And fly safe, my friends.